Well, today we're going to be with David in Psalms 40, verse 8. And David really understood how God's plans are the best plans. And David says in verse 8, I take joy in doing your will, my God. I take joy in your will, your way of doing things, your thoughts, your plans. That brings me joy. And my first thought is, really? Can we really say that? So he goes on, though, and he says, for your instructions are written on my heart. Wow, I think that's the key. I don't think David had to ask the Lord every time he wanted to do something. Should I do this? Should I do that? God, should I really? I don't think he asked him for every small little thing because he spent so much time with the Lord and he understood what God's instructions were. He said they were written on his heart. When you spend that much time with someone, you understand their DNA so well, you don't have to think, you don't have to ask, oh, what do you want me to do for every little thing? Because you know, oh, this is what he would do. You know, we used to wear the bracelets, WWJD, what would Jesus do? And for a long time, people used to ask themselves those questions, what would Jesus do? And then they would do that same kind of thing. But it became like a fad, and people stopped asking themselves, what would Jesus do? Wonder what God's will is. You know what? If that's your life, like David's was, what would God do? What would God's will be in this situation? Then it becomes a way you automatically line yourself up. And you will have his DNA, and it'll be easy for you to know which way to go. Matthew 12, verse 50, it says, anyone who does the will of my Father in heaven, anyone who does that, the will of God, Jesus saying, my Father in heaven, then that person is my brother or sister. So see, right actions equal right alignment. We are lined up with Jesus when we do God's will. Like we are in fellowship with him. We are on the same team. Well, that's a great thing. I want to be on Jesus' team, okay? Who we spend time with matters. If you're spending time with the wrong people and the wrong crowds, you are not in right alignment with God, the Father, and his will in your life. You are not. And it is going to be so hard for you to hear his will. And then later when you're in a crisis, you say, oh God, what do you want? Help me, help me. It's hard to know because you have aligned yourself in a wrong way. So think about where you are because you know what? You're creating an atmosphere and an environment around you that either helps you to be able to hear God's voice easily or it clogs your head with a lot of noise. So going the second mile, I hope it's your great joy to do the will of the Father. I hope it is because you know what? I can promise you doing his will bring you the greatest joy you've ever known.